Chapter 5, Together. For the next few days, Samantha felt as if she lived in two different worlds. In one world, she made valentines and cookies with Aunt Cornelia. She went to school, practiced her ice skating, and joked with Uncle Gard just as usual. The other world was smaller and quieter, but just as happy. That world was hidden away upstairs in the room where her secret family lived. Samantha was a very important member of that family. It was up to her to be sure that Nellie, Bridget, and Jenny had food to eat, water for drinking and washing, books to read, everything they needed. Every morning before dawn, Nellie crept down the back stairs, climbed up a cellar window, and went about the city looking for work. She was gone all day. Bridget and Jenny stayed in the attic, playing with paper dolls, napping, and whispering quietly together. After their horrible days with their uncle and at the orphanage, they were happy to stay safe and cozy in their secret hideaway, and Nellie was always glad to get back to them at the end of the day. Samantha loved being with Nellie again, and she liked being a big sister to Bridget and Jenny. Whenever she could manage it, she slipped away to be upstairs with her secret sisters. It was easy for Samantha to keep them happy and amused. They all loved to hear her tell about Aunt Cornelia and Uncle Gard. They asked hundreds of questions. What color dress was Aunt Cornelia wearing today? What did Uncle Gard say when Samantha got an A on a spelling test? Did Aunt Cornelia finish the valentine she was making? What did he look like? When were Aunt Cornelia and Samantha going to give Uncle Gard his valentine? The three girls listened to everything Samantha said with glowing eyes. Well, said Jenny one day, I think your Aunt Cornelia and Uncle Gard are the finest lady and gentleman in New York City. Yes, agreed Bridget. The only thing I liked at Cold Rock House was when they visited. Once your Uncle Gard gave me a peppermint and Miss Frochie didn't see, she remembered. I made that peppermint last a long, long time. I wish I could have another one right now. I wish you could too, sighed Samantha. She was having a hard time finding enough food for the hungry girls. Samantha gave them most of her lunch, all of her afternoon snack, and anything else she could smuggle from the pantry. One day she brought bread at the bakery and hurried home with a loaf hidden under her plaid cape. Another day she tried to bring a pot of cocoa to the girls. Bridget was catching a cold, and Samantha wanted her to have something warm to drink. But Gertrude stopped her at the kitchen floor. Where are you going with that pot of cocoa? Gertrude asked sharply. Upstairs, said Samantha. I won't have chocolate spilled all over your bedroom, said Gertrude. Sit here at the kitchen table and drink it, though I do not understand why you need to drink a whole pot of cocoa, she scolded. I've never seen a child eat and drink as much as you have lately. Glass after glass of milk, tea, cakes, and sandwiches all the livelong day, all the fruit from the bowl in the dining room. The way food disappears in this house, you'd think we had 10 children living here instead of just one. Samantha gulped her cocoa. Gertrude was getting suspicious. So the next evening, when Samantha sneaked into the pantry, she tried to be very, very careful. Quietly, she opened the cookie jar. Quietly, she took 3 of the heart-shaped cookies she and Aunt Cornelia had made. She wanted to have a little party for Nellie, Bridget, and Jenny because the next day was Valentine's Day. She put the cookies in her pocket, turned to go, and there was Gertrude. Gertrude blocked the doorway, her hands on her hips. Cookies? She snapped. You just had dinner. She frowned at Samantha. Are you keeping a pet in this house? Is there some animal up in the attic? Is that what you are feeding? Oh no, said Samantha nervously. All week I've heard scratches and scurrying up there at night when I'm in bed, said Gertrude. There's something up there. I don't know whether it's mice or thieves or ghosts, but I'll find out sooner than soon. Samantha hurried away with her cookies. She knew what Gertrude was hearing. She had to warn the girls, and fast. As soon as she was out of Gertrude's sight, she ran up the stairs. You're going to have to be quieter than ever, Samantha panted to Jenny and Bridget. Gertrude said she hears noises. And Nellie, maybe you better not go in and out for a few days. I'm afraid she may catch you on the stairs. Nellie agreed sadly. I haven't had any luck finding work anyway, she said. No one wants me for a maid. They think I don't look strong enough. She sounded discouraged. I think I'll probably have to go back to the thread factory where I worked before we moved to Mount Bedford. Don't give up yet, Nellie, said Samantha. It's only been a few days. I know, said Nellie, but we can't stay here forever. Samantha knew Nellie was right, but she didn't know what to do. Then suddenly the door flew open and Gertrude stormed in. Whatever is going on here? She demanded. Who are these children? What are they doing here? What have you been up to, Miss Samantha? Samantha couldn't think of anything at all to say. She just sat there miserably. Well, said Gertrude. Said Gertrude with a smirk. I think you better come with me. And these ragamuffins had better come too. Just wait till your aunt and uncle see this. You certainly have some explaining to do, young lady. Now get downstairs. Whatever's going on here? Gertrude demanded. Who are these children? What are they doing here? Gertrude crossed her arms on her chest and glared at the girls as they filed slowly past her and down the stairs. Samantha's heart sank with every step she took. Her plan had failed. Now the girls would have to go back to Cold Rock House. They had to face misfortune and punishment for running away. Worse than that, now they would be separated, probably forever. Nellie would be sent away on the orphan train. Gertrude followed the girls into the parlor where Uncle Gard and Aunt Cornelia were sitting by the fire. When they saw Nellie and her sisters, they both gasped. Why, Nellie! Bridget, Jenny, what are you doing here? Asked Aunt Cornelia. Begging your pardon, madam, said Gertrude, her eyes bright with self-importance. These ragamuffins were hiding in your attic. Street children, no better than beggars. They've probably been sneaking through your house stealing from you. That's not true, burst out Samantha. They never take anything. But who's been stealing all the food? Asked Gertrude. I have, said Samantha. She was so mad she was almost crying. I'm the thief, not them. Now let's calm down, said Uncle Gard. Samantha, perhaps you can explain all this. Well, she began, but just then Bridget sneezed. First, you better come sit here and get warm, Aunt Cornelia said gently. The four girls sat on the floor in front of the fire. Samantha began again. It's my fault. Nellie didn't want to run away from the orphanage, but Miss Frosty was going to send her away on the orphan train. Bridget and Jenny were too young to go, so they would have had to stay at Cold Rock House. They would never have seen Nellie again. So I talked Nellie into coming here just until she could find a job where they could all be together. How long have they been here? Asked Aunt Cornelia. About 4 days, said Samantha. 4 days? Exclaimed Aunt Cornelia. But how do they eat? I brought them food, said Samantha. Gertrude is wrong. They never steal. I know that's true, said Aunt Cornelia. Uncle Gard didn't say anything. He just stared at the four sad girls. Aunt Cornelia looked at him. Well, Gardner, she said, this is a very serious matter. What do you think we should do with these girls? Give them warm baths and put them to bed, said Uncle Gard firmly. We can decide the rest of the morning. And that is exactly what they did. That night, Nellie, Bridget, and Jenny slept in Samantha's room. This is probably the last time we'll be together, thought Samantha as she watched the girls sleeping. Their faces were pink and peaceful in the firelight. Late into the night, Samantha heard low murmurs coming from Uncle Gard and Aunt Cornelia's room. She knew they were deciding what to do with Nellie and Bridget and Jenny. Would they send them back to Cold Rock House? Would they let them stay for just a little while longer? Would they try to find Nellie's uncle? Finally, Samantha couldn't wonder or worry any longer. She fell asleep. The next morning, when the girls came downstairs, there were 3 more places set at the breakfast table, and in every place there was a big red heart trimmed with lace. Happy Valentine's Day, girls, said Aunt Cornelia. Happy Valentine's Day, they all replied. Let's have breakfast, Uncle Gard said cheerfully. The 4 girls sat down, but before she could swallow a crumb, Samantha's curiosity made her burst out. Uncle Gard, Aunt Cornelia, have you decided? What are you going to do about Nellie and Bridget and Jenny? Couldn't they please stay here? They wouldn't be any trouble, and they'd be a big help around the house. They've all been taught to be maids. We don't need any more maids, said Aunt Cornelia. Samantha's heart sank. But we do need more girls here, said Uncle Gard. I'd say we need 3 more girls in a variety of sizes. Tiny, medium, and still not very big. He turned to Nellie. Miss Nellie O'Malley, how would you and Bridget and Jenny like to stay here? You could be sisters to Samantha and Dart to Cornelia and me. Nellie looked very serious. We would like it very, very much, she answered. Hooray! Shouted Samantha. She bounced out of her chair and ran to hug Aunt Cornelia, then Nellie, Bridget, and Jenny. Then all 4 girls hugged Uncle Gard and showered him with kisses. Mwah! 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 Well, smiled Uncle Gard, what a lovely Valentine's Day this turned out to be. I have 5 of the sweetest Valentines anyone could ever have. I must be the luckiest person in the world. Samantha laughed. No, Uncle Gard, she said. I'm the luckiest person in the world. At last, I have a real family of my own.